Hello, it's now time to examine a quick overview of second module, defining multicultural education for school reform. As I said before in the introduction, I think it is now a window is open for school reform that we haven't had in many, many years. And so I think this multicultural perspective gives us a very nice wedge to use with the window that we have for meaningful school reform. So in this video, you'll be able to click on and see this video that I'm recording right now, and then of course reading chapter 2 of your textbook, followed by any PowerPoints that you want to annotate your reading. Then I've found a collection of videos that I think you'll find informative on this point. There are 5 elements of school reform and multicultural education that I think you will find useful. And then a quick multicultural education definition video that's given. Many of these are from TED Talks, and then we get into this thing as a privilege game, and we begin to talk about issues of privilege and discrimination of those without privilege. And then one of the things I really want to do is give a broad view of this as more than a racial and more than an ethic perspective, but it's also one about sexual orientation and sexual identity, cultural identity. So I found a video that I found very interesting about a person who lived as a man and a woman, and what they learned. Lastly, in this module is where we come across our first discussion, and this is a required activity and an associated assignment with it. I've created a link here where you can click on the social political context, which will take you to a link from which I'd like for you to respond sometime during this week before Sunday. And after reading all these materials, you'll see some of the questions that I've given as prompts for the discussion. Let's see if this will just let me go to that now. Let's see. My computer's running really slow today. Yeah, here it is. Let's see. Yeah, I might have a link that's not working. Right, let me go over here to discussions. There we go. There you go. Yeah. After reading chapters 1 and 2 in the NATO textbook, address the question of how would you apply elements of multicultural education in your particular professional context. Now, you don't have to go crazy about doing this. And then after you have published something on the discussion board, go to part 2, which is to submit a part 2 response. Let's see if we can go there. This is technically an assignment. Let's see if that's going to open here. Yeah, there we go. In that discussion, submit your part 2 reflections here, and this will give you a chance to submit your work. But here are the questions I want you to think about. As you've thought about it, in what way does this topic have meaning to you? And how do you reason your way into that conclusion? I'm very interested in how people come to conclusions. What reasoning do they use? What connections do they make? What information do they bring in? And how good is the information that they use to make decisions on? And then finally, in your reflection paper, let's talk about the implications of your point of view with regards to professional practice. Now, if I didn't say before, I would like for you to submit a 1-page reflection paper or a brief video. And if you're not real help on doing a video. If you want to do an audio, that would be acceptable to me too. And here's the rubric that I'll be using to put points. I said before that ELC is kind of biased towards giving points, so I'm afraid that I'm going to have to assign points to those. But don't get all wowed out about all of that. So anyway, that is the. Let me just go back to where we were. That is module number 2, and you're going to encounter your first discussion. I think there are only 4 of these over the course of the semester. So give this some thought. This is you're into the book now a little bit, with enough time to really begin to think about your own personal perspective here. Thank you, and we shall talk again.